The First World War was a conflict that took place between 1914 and 1918 between the Central Powers and the Allies. However, in today's videos we are not going to explain in detail this conflict, so you would ask yourself, why does the video start mentioning it? Well, because we are going to talk about the Paris Peace Conference. This raises the questions: what is the Paris Peace Conference, how it is related to World War I, when and where does it happen, who takes part, which was its intention, what were its consequences? In order to answer all these questions, we have to start from the beginning, or well, from the end, because the Paris Peace Conference took place at the end of World War I. The end of World War I started with the joining of the United States on the side of the Allies, as it gave them many more resources. This fact made the Ottoman and Austro-Hungarian empires leave the conflict. The conflict finally ended when Germany signed the armistice with the Allies on November 1918. After the end of the conflict, there were several issues to agree with the defeated countries. In order to do so, the victors met in the Paris Peace Conference in 1990, where they produced a series of treaties that the defeated countries were forced to sign. These treaties weakened the countries on the losing side.
There were 27 participating countries. However, the main decisions were taken by United States, France, Britain and Italy. All the countries had some main common goals. One of the most important ones was preventing the resurgence of Germany as a great power. Achieving a balance of power among the victors was important to avoid conflict, especially in the Balkans and the colonies. Finally, isolated Russia was also fundamental, so that the communist revolution didn't spread throughout the world. Each country also looked for its own interests. Firstly, we have Britain. They wanted to gain territories in Africa and Asia and did not want to favor France. France was interested in recovering Alsace-Lorraine and in demilitarizing the Rhineland.
For its part, Italy gained territories in Europe, the Middle East and in Asia. However, it was disappointed because they considered they deserved more. Finally, the United States was interested in establishing new frontiers that really represented the nationalities of the people and in creating a via of lasting diplomacy. Consequently, the League of Nations was created. This was an international organization based on American President Woodrow Wilson's 14 points. It ended up being ineffective as Germany, Russia, and the United States itself did not join. Among the main consequences of Paris Peace Conference, we find territorial changes. The German, Austro-Hungarian, and Ottoman empires ceased to exist. Finland and the Baltic states became independent, and Romania and Poland were enlarged.
We have mentioned all the defeated countries signed a treaty. The most important one was the Treaty of Versailles, signed by Germany. This treaty was seen as an imposition. Germany was considered the main responsible of the war and was obligated to reduce its armed forces and pay war reparations. This situation led to great bitterness among the Germans and hyperinflation, which transformed into a deep economic crisis after 1929. All this contributed to the rise of the Nazi extremism. So in fact, although the intention of this conference was establishing peace, it ended up sowing the seed of another catastrophic war, the World War II.